2010-0163, Parish President's remarks. Mr. St. Pierre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Holly kind of highlighted on a bunch of items I want to cover, so my report's not going to be that long. But I just want to let you know that the bar screen cleaners at Cousins Pumping Station is complete. Of that $3.7 million project, 1.1 was of that money was grant money. So the project was on time and below budget. Tonight we'll be introducing an ordinance to reduce to decrease the cost of that project. So Salmon and the Public Works Department did a good job pushing that project through. Also, a similar project you might have seen if you pass on Highway 90 is about 50% complete, and that project is being done at a cost of $910,513, which $750,000 is coming from grants. And if you want to see less information about any projects we have going, you can now visit our website and go to St. Charles Parish-la.gov/midterm report and click on infrastructure improvements, and you can kind of they have a little synopsis of all the projects that we have going on. I would also like to acknowledge the hard work of our drainage crews after a couple of recent incidents at our pumping stations. One of the pumps broke an upper shaft at the section out of pumping station the night of April 25th. Our workers quickly removed the shaft and delivered it to the machine shop, which fabricated a new shaft overnight and returned the pump back in service in less than 24 hours. Also recently, lightning struck the pumping station at Prescott in months. Entergy, thanks to Entergy, they came out and repaired the service pole. The drainage crews removed the station breaker panels and replaced both the surge protectors and the battery charging system. Because of their quick work, none of the controls on these 3 diesel hydraulic pumps housed at the station were damaged. We're extremely grateful to the efforts of these employees in keeping our parish dry and safe. This upcoming Thursday, March the 6th, we'll be honoring the National Day of Prayer here at the courthouse on the front lawn. This event begins at noon. Please come out and join us for this admirable event. Last year was very well attended, and everyone is invited. On March 15th, as we told you earlier, St. Charles Parish will be hosting its yearly Relay for Life event at the West Bank Bridge Park at 6 p.m. Come out and enjoy some food and fun, and while raising money for the American Cancer Society. Last Friday, our staff met to discuss our plans on the Horizon oil event out in the Gulf. After a lot of discussion, it was determined that we are not directly in the affected area, and that although we want to have some backup plans just in case that there was a possibility of us getting getting some oil, and so it was determined that the sites that we would have to actually boom off would be on the West Bank out of Lake Salvador by Bayou Gauche, Bayou Pirogue, and by the Intercoastal Canal in Jefferson Parish. And on the East Bank, well, the only way we can really get oil from the East Bank is through the Wrigley's. Kevin Davis, I applaud him for being proactive. He called us and wanted all the people at all the parishes that back up to Lake Salvador to join in an effort to dam off the structure by Fort Pike. If you're traveling across the Twin Span, if you look to the right, you can see like an old bridge. Well, that's Fort Pike. And what he did, regardless whether he's going to get repaid or not, he already got into a contract with a company out of Alabama. The booms are on site, the crews are on site, and they're not going to be deployed unless they actually have Gulf coming into that area. And I think that's the only way to really get oil into Lake Pontchartrain. We also there was also some thought about oil coming up the river, but with the flow of the river going out into the Gulf, we didn't think there'd be any possibility of oil coming up the river. But Robbie we own oil booms to go around the intakes of structure, so we kind of ruled that out. Also, we're working with the state. The Davis diversion is now flowing at 4,000 cubic feet per second, and as of the emergency meeting called Saturday night by the governor, they probably, if the wind switches the direction, they're probably going to want us to run that diversion at 11,000 cubic feet per second. So that's something we're keeping our eye on. I think the EOC and Renee and her department's been keeping the public informed. If you go to the website, there's a lot of good information. There's a lot of phone numbers that you can call if you're interested in getting employed by the government to put out booms, or if you're impacted with oyster beds or any kind of fisheries. Those numbers on our website. Saturday night we had an emergency meeting called by the governor in Baton Rouge at the state police headquarters. They invited all the parish presidents, the sheriffs, and the emergency operation personnel to discuss some issues. Saturday was actually the 8th day of the event, and the governor didn't feel that there was any progress being made. There were no plans that we can look at to see how we're going to attack this thing. So what he asked us to do by Sunday at 1 o'clock is submit our plan. If we had an idea of how we wanted to protect our parish, we needed a plan submitted by 1 o'clock Sunday. So he wanted to submit every parish's plan at one time to the Coast Guard for approval, and then the Coast Guard would then the state would then go to BP and say, this is our plan, this is what it's going to cost you, we expected to fund it. And I think it was a very good idea. We got with right after the meeting we stayed, and we got with Jefferson Parish and Lafourche to come up with a plan. And really our plan is to stop everything at the mouth of the Gulf. And Jefferson Parish is taking care of that all the way up to the Lafourche Parish line. So only thing we can offer them was moral support and prayers, because I mean it's up to them to boom off those areas. Today, Billy, Councilman Chairman Bill Raymond and I had a chance to be on a conference call with the President of the United States, and he had a conference call and thanked all the parish presidents. He said he realized that what we're going through right now, this is going to be a long-term event. This is something that's not going to be corrected overnight. But he wanted to make 5 commitments to the parish presidents. And one is that they're going to do everything, commit to stop the leak at the source. The government will share no expense to make sure that everything, when this event is eventually over, and it may be years, that the cleanup process will be done correctly. And he made sure that he wants to make sure that every possible resource available that the government has will be at our disposal. If we need something, all we got to do is call and ask. And he wanted to make sure that the local government is included in any plans for cleanup, not just what the federal government wants, not what just what the British Petroleum wants, but what local government wants. And he's also setting up a national incident command center in Roberts, Louisiana, and that's going to be our line of communication. So anything we need from the government concerning that oil spill, that's where we would go. Saturday we had a successful auction on Saturday, selling all our surplus equipment. Some of you may have drove by there and saw the equipment we had. We raised over $140,000 at that auction. I'd like to thank all of our employees who worked so hard to put that thing together. It was quite an event. And also, like Holly mentioned, Wetland Watchers Park had a big event last week. We had over 2,000 kids there. Had a great time. The park is really coming around. If you get a chance, I think you ought to drive out there and see it. Sales tax, we got our 3/4 of sales tax. Last year in 2009, we had received $3,850,000 in sales tax. This year is down $3,109,000, about $740,000 different from last year. Just an update on the East Bank levee. An additional 1,000 feet of reach 2B has been raised to a plus 13.5, measuring 5,750 feet of the 10,000 feet job, or 57% is now ready for the hurricane season 2010. Also, construction of the concrete portion of the Alameda drainage structure is now complete, leaving only some minor earthwork done to June 1st. So, other than that, Mr. Chairman, that is my report.
Thank you, Mr. St. Pierre. Mr. St. Pierre, 2 events coming up in May. I don't remember what they were. One, May 15th. You mentioned March. You wanted, just for clarification, whatever those 2 events were, it's not March, it's May that those 2 things are occurring.